on to something else, and that is mine and George's blogs.
And then when you're done looking at our blogs, go over and look at a shirt.
Yes.
Buy a shirt.
Yes.
And then you can wear a shirt while you're looking at our blogs and watching our show.
Actually, the back end of our site is powered by Cafe Press, and if you buy a shirt right now, I think it's 20% off until October 4th or 5th. So you can get shirts at a really discounted price right now. So, and anytime you guys buy anything from
gear, even at a discounted price,
go over there, and we got a lot more designs coming out. So go check it out, uncutgear.com. The blog is uncutg.blogspot.com, uncutkevin.blogspot.com.
I'm throwing this in there real quick for you people who watch college football this weekend. It was nuts.
It really was.
Wisconsin beat the brakes off people. Alabama whooped up on Florida. I mean, there's just some powerhouse teams out there right now.
Yeah, it really is.
Kevin mentioned this earlier. I think Alabama's going to play for the national title.
I think Alabama's they just look right as of right now.
It'll be a hell of a matchup when they play LSU
in November. That's going to. I think the winner of that game, barring that LSU doesn't slip up, because LSU has zippy on all.
If there's a sleeper right now to get in and knock one of these teams off, who do you think it is? I want to know, everybody out there, and I know this is a UFC video, and people are like saying, just who is your
sleeper pick
in college football?
Who do I think is going to throw a monkey wrench into the game and mess it all up at the end of the season?
I know you're going to say.
Oh yeah, because they are because they play. Yeah, because they play fucking no one.
But
they're going to go undefeated, and they've already played their toughest competition. They have one more tough game left.
Yeah.
How?
But they're good. They're good though. I know Boise State is still good. I mean, they're good. I mean, I look at Nebraska. I'm a diehard Nebraska fan, and Nebraska just played Wisconsin and got destroyed today. They're ranked 8th in the country, and I know Nebraska cannot beat Boise State.
Well, here's the thing. I don't disagree. I think Boise State...
On a neutral field, Nebraska will beat the brakes off Boise State.
I agree.
I think Boise State's a good team, but to me, I would love to see them week in and week out play the level of competition of other schools, just because, for one, that truly means if you're a good team, if you can come and play every single week.
Right.
We've all played sports growing up.
Right.
It's easy to get up for one game or two games.
Right.
And you can play over your head. You can play on adrenaline, etc.
That's a good point. Yeah, you guys got
week in and week out, it becomes more like a job.
I'm not even asking for week in and week out. You don't have to play a ranked opponent. But when you go, seriously, you know who their toughest opponent left is? San Diego State.
Yeah.
Are you shitting me? That's your toughest opponent left? Look, I understand you opened up the beginning of the season and you beat, who'd they beat? Oregon? They beat, who the fuck did they beat?
I think they beat Oregon.
Yeah, they beat somebody that I didn't think they were going to beat.
And they beat them handily, didn't they? In Oregon, I believe.
Was it Oregon or was
it?
No, it was Georgia.
Yeah,
they beat Georgia.
Yeah,
in Georgia.
I don't think Georgia's ranked this year.
Not anymore. Well, but they won 35-21.
What's Georgia's record, though?
I don't care. They followed that up with Toledo.
Guys, don't worry, we're getting
to then they followed that up with Tulsa. Then they played Nevada. And then when they're done playing Nevada, they play Fresno State. You know who they follow up Fresno State?
Wyoming?
Colorado State. You know who they play after that? Air Force. And then they play UNLV. So then they play TCU, which could be a tough game. Maybe. And then they play the powerhouse San Diego State, Wyoming, and New Mexico. I'm sorry, but that's not a schedule of a team that deserves to be in a BCS game.
Which brings me to my next question. There's 4 things I'm going to ask you, and it's going to be labeled. It's a question about George, and then we're going to move on to UFC 136. First, what do you think irritates George Bedford more than anything? Okay? A, Phillip Rivers. B, Boise State University.
Oh, I can't wait to hear these other.
C, women MMA. Or D, NASCAR.
What about GSP?
Right? We can add a fifth. Or E, GSP. Those are the 5 things you guys, our fan base, has to choose from. And next week, we're going to tell you which one of you guys got it right. Okay? Now, moving on to the thing that everybody probably tuned in to watch this video for, UFC 136.
No, I think they tuned in for the diatribe on Boise State.
I think so, too. You all right, man?
I hate that school, dude.
I know you do.
I just wish you'd go to a conference. Go to the Big Ten.
No. You know what I'm going to
go to the Big 12. Go somewhere.
In about 20-something years, I'm going to laugh when he has a kid. And he's going to want to go, or she's going to want to go to Boise
that
State.
Little bastard. Right.
You're like, Dad, I really like it out there. This is a great school. They have a blue field.
Yeah. It's going to be great. You know, he's going to be watching old football programs. He's going to be like, who's this guy, Phillip Rivers? He's awesome. Meanwhile, he's going to be like, I want to go to Boise State. Your little daughter's going to be like, I want to go to Boise State because they have an MMA program.
And then I'm going to go out and be like, GSP.
And GSP's coaching there now because he's like 60-something.
George would just have a fucking massive heart attack. UFC 136, let me tell you something. This card, we're going to talk about it finally because you guys are rolling your eyes, but you can always zip it forward to this part.
Solid card.
It is a solid card. I think it's one of the most overlooked cards in a long time. People are just kind of sleeping on this fucking card. But we're going to start with the fucking
Real quick question. Yeah, real quick question. Mm-hmm. Do you think the Fox deal and the one fight that'll be aired on Fox has managed to overshadow and take more headlines away from these last couple cards, including this one coming up, the one we just watched, and the one last week? Do you think that the Fox acquisition or the contract with Fox and that one card is overshadowing some of the normal promotion we see for even a versus card?
I think there's a lot of things. I think one, UFC has entered in a deal with Fox, and they're worried about now we are going to be on mainstream television. We're not going to be on cable. It's going to be a main network. They have already got deals with Spike that they've got to finish out and conclude. They're not happy.
And they're being a dick about that.
So why promote it? Let Spike promote it. That's what they paid for it. Let them promote it. Why expose the public to shitty cards when they're going to have a blockbuster card that they want to introduce to the mainstream public? And the same thing applies to Versus. They're probably getting the Raw into the deal because of Spike's relationship with the UFC now.
Right. Versus is owned by NBC.
Right. So, I mean, they're not going to go and promote any of these fights. I mean, Fox came to them and gave them a fat-ass paycheck.
$90 million for 7
years. And Zoof and Dana White, these guys will be like, you can do the marketing. We're going to put the cards together now. We're going to do everything else. We're going to focus on our pay-per-view events and stuff. And they're going to have to do the marketing.
This is a pay-per-view event. Huh? This event's not free.
What?
136. The
136 is 136. They've been promoting it.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you right now. That interview we watched because they broadcast it. That was the only one I've seen about 136. I haven't heard very much. I've heard very little about everything else. Where's Chael Sonnen? That motherfucker can sell ice to Eskimos, right?
Yeah,
right. I haven't seen one interview.
I think Chael Sonnen, he's an Oregon boy, what I'm saying? He's a straight up country boy, and I think he has a big problem. He's a very staunch Republican, and Brian Stann is an American hero, and I don't think he's going to bad talk Brian Stann.
And guess what? He said he's not.
He's not going to bad talk Brian Stann.
And he also went to Brian Stann and asked him for help because his buddy needed a job.
Right.
So it's funny how he runs his mouth when it's convenient to him and his calls.
Yeah.
If you're going to stick to this character that you've created, I don't give a shit who you fight.
Right.
I don't care.
Right.
Dude, you can't turn that shit on just because of who you're fighting. You're an asshole. Be an asshole all the time. That's my problem with you because you're fucking fake.
Permanent asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my opinion. I understand Brian Stann's in a war. You don't have to attack him on that front.
Well,
go to another front.
Well, it's so funny because Chael Sonnen is very much like a Floyd Mayweather, man. I mean, he can sell, he can promote fights, and I mean, to some degree, it's
a good hype man.
It's a good hype man, and both of those guys are great business people. I mean, they're getting people to watch their fights because people want to see him get beat, but especially in Brazil.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All the Brazilians are sitting there eating their popcorn, going, "I hope this motherfucker gets fucked up."
I got a banana to feed you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, the prelims that are on, we are finally getting UFC 136. Our editor's going to be like, Kevin, is there any reason you sent me a 4-hour and 15-minute video?
This is why the fans love you guys.
Yes. Jesus. But Anthony Pettis is going to be fighting Jeremy Stevens on the prelims on Spike on this fucking card.
I'm going to tell you right now, the one on Facebook, Joey Beltran, you know what you're getting with him. He's going to be swinging from the parking lot.
Is that the Executioner? I think that's that guy.
I don't know. That's the guy who follows us. But
that is.
That is one of the fights that's on the prelims. The other fight is Demian Maia versus Jorge Santiago.
Well, I'll say out of those two, I'm looking forward to the Pettis fight because that's good. There's going to be some hands thrown there.
Yeah, I mean, if you got to think about it, it's funny that he's on a prelim on a card like this because I mean, Anthony Pettis was the man in WC. He was the champ, and he was until he had.
He was guaranteed a title shot until he took that fight and lost the fight.
Yeah, with Clay, Now, on the main card, the first bout we're going to talk about is a lightweight bout between Melvin Guillard and Joe Aldo.
Love Melvin Guillard.
He's reinvented himself.
He's reinvented himself. He is one of the best athletes in the UFC, without a doubt.
And those hands are dynamite.
Joe's going to have a problem.
He's going to have a problem. I'm gonna go right.
I'm going with Guillard on that one.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Guillard as well. And his blonde afro looks like a snow cone. And I don't know what else.
Joe got submitted by your boy Stropolopoulos.
Oh,
it's like a lot of puss, and don't get it wrong.
Did he get fired?
Huh?
Did he get fired, or is he still fighting? Like
he got a job with Vivid Entertainment.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a good backup job.
I'm on a roll, bitch.
Terrible.
Now, who do you got? Who do you have in that fight?
I'm going against Guillard.
You are?
Oh.
Yep. Just to be different from you two. I'm going to go with Lawson.
All right.
He's going to knock him out.
Featherweight bout. Leonard Garcia.
First Nam fan.
Nam fan.
I'm going with Nam.
I'm going with Nam too.
I'm going with Leonard Garcia.
You are?
I am.
Are you friends with him?
No.
Do you know him?
No.
Ooh.
What do you think about the guy?
I'm sorry. I retract that.
What are you retracting?
I'm not going with Nam fan.
What? Why?
Because Nam fan has lost 2 in a row to Leonard Garcia and Mike Brown. No. And before
he's about ready to fan his way out of the UFC.
Yeah, this is.
He lost to Leonard Garcia and he's fighting him again?
Yeah,
but it was a
split decision.
Yeah,
it was a good fight.
It was a good fight.
That's why the fight.
It's the Ultimate Fighter 12 finale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, I'm going with Leonard.
So what were you saying? What are you going to go with?
I'm going with Leonard Garcia because
Yes.
he's an exciting fighter. I mean, he's going to come out and throw hands. He'll tell you he's going to try to knock
That's
the guy
all
out.
he ever says. Throw hands. He's going to throw hands.
Well, I just always have sort of a mental note
It's
of
like
guys
fucking
that are going to
a play button.
Yeah.
We don't even need him here.
Let's see.
We just get a tape recorder and hit play. Throw
There it
hands.
is. Jimmy play button.
throw hands. Throw hands.
Reverse.
Hands throw.
Damn, it works.
Yeah.
Pretty good, man.
So now, Chael Sonnen versus Brian Stann. Jimmy, what's going to happen?
Throw hands.
Damn, that shit works good shit. Anyway, this is the fight. I think a lot of people forgot this fight was going to be on this card.
And I'm looking forward to this fight.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this fight.
I
want
to see what Brian Stann is
made of.
Yeah.
Okay,
true.
real quick, we can do word association. Someone was saying, what happened to word association? And we, things happen. We got a lot of shit going on. I mean, we're in the post. We don't mean to toot our horns, but beep, beep. But we forgot about word association, and we don't want to forget about word association. So real quick, word association with the Chael Sonnen and Brian Stann foul. Now I have a stuttering problem, everybody. I'm sorry that I've developed this, but word association with the Chael Sonnen and Brian Stann bout. What's the first thing that comes to mind? One word.
Exciting.
And I'm pointing at George as he says that.
I'm a ventriloquist, man. I'm multi-talented.
Talk for George. Okay, let's point to Jimmy.
Interesting.
Okay, so we reversed that shit. So interesting, exciting.
What do you think?
Country, because I'm some two country boys.
Who do you think's going to win, Kevin?
You know what? I think Chael Sonnen's going to win this fight. I just think his wrestling is going to be too much for Brian Stann. I'd love to see Brian Stann win this fight, and I'd like to see Brian Stann. I think these guys have a tremendous amount of respect for one another, so it's not going to, fights get fights. The bottom line, but
I just want to see Brian Stann land one solid punch to the middle of his face and watch his nose explode.
Yeah,
that's all I want to have happen. I don't think he's going to win the fight. I really don't. I like Brian Stann. I think I've watched his progression from WEC champ to who he is today, and he's come a long way. Mm-hmm. I just think Chael Sonnen is big.
Yes.
I think he's going to take him down. He's going to hold him down, and he's going to beat on him.
Yeah.
Now, the winner of this fight, do they get the fight for the belt?
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, why not? I mean, there's nobody else that's really a threat to Anderson Silva right now in the middleweight division, and the last person that put up a good fight was Chael Sonnen. So if this guy can beat him, absolutely, Brian Stann gets the shot.
But if Brian Stann loses to Chael
Sonnen should get the rematch, absolutely.
Now,
definitely.
Without being on PEDs and with Anderson Silva having nice, not barbecued ribs.
See, and here's my thing. If I'm Anderson Silva and Chael Sonnen wins this fight, as I've said before, you will take the drug test before and pass, and you will take the drug test after and pass, or I will not fight you. And I would tell Dana that. Well, it's like, if you want me to fight him, he needs to piss clean.
Or he could file his paperwork because allegedly he does it for the same reasons as like a Nate Marquardt.
Right, but this is the same guy who also is convicted of a felony. So I don't really have a lot of respect for money laundering. So
right,
he's not exactly the most upstanding individual.
He definitely has, you mean
you wouldn't let him be your
shady background?
No, I wouldn't let him. I wouldn't let this motherfucker hold my child's hand to walk across the street. I do not.
Here,
like
little Bedford.
I do not like this guy
Okay,
at all.
well, let's get off the Chael Sonnen and Brian Stann shit so we can move on. And we're going to move on to the Featherweight Championship between Jose Aldo, and Kenny Florian.
Why? Why not take this fight and make it the head of a whole nother card? You let Kenny Florian fight one fight, win one fight at this new weight, and now he's fighting for the title. I understand it's to put butts in seats and to sell tickets, but why not make it a whole head of it on a whole nother card? Why stick it in this
You know what? Because I disagree with you.
I don't think it's a big enough fight for me.
I don't think he shouldn't be here. That's my point. I argued at the beginning
he was the man
at
155. I mean, he was like John Fitch of 155. 7 years trying to get a title, and now all of a sudden they bring the 145 weight class in, and now you've got Aldo sitting there. I think everybody. I mean, I think Jose Aldo is incredible. I mean, obviously he's in the mix for one of the best pound for pound fighters. But I tell you what, don't sleep on Kenny Florian, because that is a crafty motherfucker.
I'm actually going to pick Kenny Florian in this fight.
Because
he looked really good in his last fight, and I think he brings a skill set that Jose Aldo hasn't quite faced. I mean, I'm not saying that he's
lengthy,
better,
he's a great wrestler.
He's going to definitely bring something different to the table, and I think he's got a good shot against Aldo. I was not impressed with Aldo's last outing.
Yeah, I was watching a fight the other night on UFC Unleashed, and I forgot who Kenny Florian was fighting.
Aldo's last fight, he won fight of the night. So how can you say it wasn't a good fight?
Maybe I'm thinking of the one where he went 5 rounds and it was quite lackluster.
Well, he was definitely the last time. Yeah, it wasn't maybe fight night.
You were talking about when he beat Faber?
No, actually the fight at night it was a good fight at night because Aldo was actually in trouble. He didn't dominate. It was a fight at night because it was a good fight. It was a more evenly matched fight than most people would have thought. But also, it looked like Aldo was having problems with his win.
Right, that's my point. By lackluster, I don't mean the fight. I meant him, because normally he would just come out and finish a fight very quickly.
Right, and he didn't do that.
Or brutalize the person, as Uriah Faber's leg was literally twice the size of his other one.
Yeah, but I was surprised. I forgot who I was watching him fight on UFC Unleashed, but he was fighting a striker, and he was getting in there and taking him down and wearing him out. And I mean, Aldo is also going to deal with the bigger guy that's tall and lengthy. And I think if Kenny Florian can get Aldo on the ground, he can present a lot of problems for him. Now, if you want to take my advice on that, and if you took my advice on the fight we just saw this night, then I could be horribly wrong.
I'm gonna go with Aldo, because you know what? Even if Kenny Florian gets him on the ground, I mean, this dude's got jiu-jitsu, so I don't know what you get him on the ground, and now what? You gonna fucking GSP this thing?
I could do it. I mean, so we'll see.
Fix the damn MMA scoring.
Now, moving on to the trilogy, and these are two motherfuckers that just come in and bang it out.
We'll let Kevin talk about this, because he loves these guys.
Mickey Ward and Arturo Gatti.
It is like boxing. It's just like Ward and Gatti. And you know what it is, man. I think a lot of people, you know, and this is the lightweight championship between Frankie Edgar and Gray Maynard. I was so impressed, and I think everybody was so impressed with how Frankie Edgar pulled out that shit. I mean, just being in so much trouble and getting so banged. He got rocked in the first round. He just looked like this, and he was out of it. And I'm like, man, this guy is through. And he pulled it. I mean, that showed. I got a lot of respect for that guy, man, when I saw that fight, because I'm like, this guy's got so much fucking heart, you know, to hang in there. And he was hanging in there with a good fighter, you know. I can't wait to see this fight.
So how do you think it's going to play out, Kevin?
I think Frankie Edgar's going to beat him.
Do you see this going to the decision, or do you see this fight being ended?
I think it's going to end in about the third round. I got Edgar a TKO in the third round. I'm thinking that Frankie Edgar has built up enough confidence after coming, because he wore Gray Maynard out this. Well, it was kind of up and down a little bit, but I think after being rocked by a guy and a guy hitting you like that and being able to recover, and now you're going to come into a fight, the fight clean, you know, not rocked, and having to come back from being in a hole during the course of a fight. I think that gives him a lot better odds.
I would agree. I think that definitely will give him confidence in facing Maynard. But I'm actually going to pick Maynard, and I think it's going to be a TKO in the second round.
Really?
I think he's either going to knock him out, or it's going to be finished due to strikes.
What do you think about it?
I'm going back and forth looking at the records, and it's Edgar's got 2 wins over BJ Penn, which to me are impressive. I don't care which BJ Penn you're fighting, but Maynard's got wins over Roger Huerta, he's beaten Nate Diaz, he's beaten Kenny Florian, he's beaten Jim Miller, Rich Clemente. I mean, he's beaten Frank Edgar once. I mean,
he's beaten a lot of different styles. I mean, Gray Maynard is nasty as shit. I mean, you know,
and he
wants that fucking belt.
Hands. I mean, to finish the fight. That's
This
for sure.
is
at any
one.
time.
This is one. If I was betting, this is the one I'd be like, nope.
Yeah.
I wouldn't touch
It is going to, and that's the reason I think it's going to be a good fight, man. I mean, you just don't know which way this thing is going to go.
I think Edgar's going to beat him in the third.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with as well.
I mean, Maynard has a ridiculously rock solid head and a hell of a chin, but I think it's Edgar's time. He's going to beat him and hold on to the belt for a little while.
Yeah, I think the guys.
But
Both of the guys are
Maynard
phenomenal.
is so
fighter.
impressive. I mean,
Yes.
he's 10-0-1.
Yeah.
He's had a 1-0 contest, a draw. I mean, I don't particularly like the way Maynard fights. We watched him fight in Virginia. I think he's kind of like old school, like get you up against the cage, kind of like Randy Couture, like slow it down, close inside stuff that you can't see real well. But I don't know. I just think Edgar's going to get him. Speed and youth.
I think that speed is going to catch up with Maynard this time. I think he's going to dictate the fight with the speed, and I think that could get him in trouble. But I've been wrong, like I was tonight. Well, we're out of here, man. We're getting the fuck out of here. Finally, man, we will catch you guys on Wednesday.
Oh, you know what we're talking about on Wednesday? Women's MMA.